Hello everybody and welcome back to the Gamepodular Twitch channel where I am as always your host Seskra, and joining me as always is my co-host Hyuka. How are you doing, Hyuka?
I'm good. I'm feeling great. I'm very excited for today because it's going to be a lot, I
Yep,
think.
it sure is. Yeah, we are doing the grand finale of our Hollow Knight Randomizer, but before we get to the grand part of that, I would just like to remind everybody that if you enjoy what we do around here, please support us over on patreon.com/gamepodular, or subscribe to us here on Twitch. Follow us on YouTube. That's over on youtube.com/@gamepodular. You can also check out VODs, highlights, compilations, etc. over on youtube.com/@gamepodular streams highlights. We have a number of other streams coming up as well, of course. Over on Tuesday, I believe, you and Rosalie are going to be going through Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Yeah, because we really felt Metroidvanias as a genre were underrepresented on the Twitch channel at the moment. So we decided we should add another one to the dockets.
Interesting. I was trying to read this here lore tablet, and it ain't letting me.
And then on next week, Friday, is our next Iconoclast stream. For a multitude of reasons, including I am not home and also Unfocused is being recorded that weekend.
Yes. It is, of course, one of our podcasts, which, if you don't know, yes, we also do podcasts in addition to our Twitch streams. That's why you should be subscribed to our various channels and maybe consider joining our Discord, which you can find a link for over on our website, which is gamepodular.com.
Right here, with the link I just posted in chat.
So, interesting development here. I wanted to start today off by going through the last of our bingo card. We have exactly one thing left to do there, which is read both of the lore tablets on the Pilgrim's Way. There we go. And the thing is, there are supposed to be 3 lore tablets, so I don't know why it says, both. But the point is, we've just read 2. That didn't get it, and then there is the third one right here, which I cannot read.
That's unfortunate.
Now, I
like
suspect what's going on here is, this is tied into the randomizer mod to some extent, because this lore tablet is supposed to tell you how to heal, and we started the game not being able to heal. So I get that that probably means they removed that prompt. Like, they probably removed the ability to activate this if you don't have healing, so that you don't have like the tutorial prompt for healing on screen the entire time. Would be my guess, but it means that I can't read it now, and I'm assuming this is one of the tablets they're referring to in our bingo card, which means we can't complete the bingo card. Sorry, everybody. But we got everything else.
I mean, at the very least, it wasn't our fault.
Yeah. Don't blame us, blame the mod. But that means we can get onto the meat and potatoes and or vegetarian substitute of today's stream. Yes, yes, I seek the gods, heart of the kingdom, yada yada. Wait, no, Kingdom Hearts. Wrong stream, wrong stream. We're doing that later. Yes, yes, take the god tuner, etc., etc. But yes, today we are doing a Pantheon. And we've done Pantheons before. They're fun boss rushes. And we've done them with, challenges and restrictions. Literally all of them. Which means I can now show you sort of what that secret room looks like.
Yes.
There was a big glowy blue orb here that I hit with my dream nail. I will, however, show off one fun little detail. Let me look down. Let me see. Okay. I want you to look in the bottom right.
Ooh, that's some sort of face?
That was blinking, whatever it was, yes. There's a something hanging out here. Nobody knows what it is. It's a cool, nifty little ooh, what's that? More so than it is a real, like, lore drop. But I like it as a fun detail. And I have also been practicing, as you can see.
Holy hell.
Yeah, if I'd had more time, I would have gone to, like, further lengths to make sure I can do everything in the one-hit kill mode, but sadly, you know, there's only so much time available at the moment.
And it is time to slam and jam.
Correct, because we are doing the Pantheon of Hallownest. We will get breaks along the way, I believe either 5 or 6. And we are going to be going through 42 boss fights in a row here.
Oh, God.
So, buckle up.
And this is without bindings?
Without bindings, because I'm not saying I can't do them, but it wouldn't be for good TV.
I was sort of talking about this with Scott yesterday, but how, like, there's sort of 2 flavors of streamers. Well, there's more, but 2 for the purposes of this example. One is, like, that people start watching them because they're very good at video games. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's where you get folks like Ninja? Right?
No, that is not his claim to fame. You get that out of your mouth right now.
I thought his thing was he was really good at Fortnite, and that's how he got, like, famous.
I don't care if we start beef with the biggest YouTuber in the business, biggest streamer in the business. Skill at video games is not his claim to fame. But I digress. Continue your thought.
Yeah, so there's people who get big because they're very good at video games. Like, fun fact, I used to watch a long time ago 1 or 2 YouTubers who were very good at Call of Duty, and that was, like, the main draw.
There we go.
And then you've got more, like, personality-focused streamers.
Hi, Omega. How you doing?
Yeah, speedrunners. That is so much better of an example than noted guy who doesn't know how avocados work ninja.
Or bread.
And then there's more personality-focused streamers. And I don't know, like, you are actually good at this game.
Thank you. I try.
But I will not claim to fall into that category by any stretch of the imagination. I find speedrunning as a phenomenon very fascinating. Even though, like, I will never truly... I don't know if I'll ever get into watching speedruns. We do cover speedrunning occasionally on Infocus when something, like, really cool or interesting happens. Like, a new world record being set for Tetris. Or a new borderline perfect run for NES Punch-Out, which also happened last year, I think. I do really like... I've told this story... Yeah, exactly. Videos about them or histories of records I find really interesting. And there was, at the most recent, I think, GDQ, the final segment on that GDQ was a quote-unquote, I hesitate to call it a speedrun necessarily, because it was in a category that I don't know how to define. Because you know how you have, like, tool-assisted speedruns, right?
Yes.
Well, this was tool...
Impeded?
Impeded speedrunning. like the ROM had been modded with some like quality of life improvements, like making the text go really quickly and stuff. But I can't remember if I've talked about this on the stream before. Actually, I may already have. But the bit was Pokemon Platinum or Emerald, one of those two, and the audience, who was live in attendance and also watching on Twitch, could vote by donating money on which Pokemon the runner was allowed to use for which gym leader. And other important story fights. And that's just like a really fun way of raising money, because who doesn't love tormenting live streamers for charity?
I love it, and I am one. No, I'm not a masochist. Shut up. Now, you might have noticed something about this arena that we're currently in.
There's less floor than I'm used to.
Yes, and that's also a thing we saw in a couple other fights. And our very first one, of course, against the Vengefly King. You might have noticed that got a little out of hand because there were two of them.
Yes.
Thank you. Because almost all of the fights in this particular Pantheon are harder than they were in the story mode. For extra spice. You're a beautiful boy.
I get the impression that the Dung Defender is a major fan favorite.
Yes, everybody loves the Dung Defender. I've made the Solaire comparison before, and I stand by it. It's all about jolly cooperation.
And poop.
But not in a weird way.
Which is less Solaire coded.
That we know. Yeah, this fight now has the little the failure ghosties.
I would like to formally submit my new fan theory that Solaire becomes the loathsome dung eater.
Alright, we need to make a thumbnail of you making the Pog face and gotta surround it in red outline.
No, I need to make a YouTube Ponder face.
Yes.
Do the, like, you know, hand on chin rubbing that one.
Yeah, index finger extended.
Yeah.
T-cell!
Or not.
Every time.
Part of the reason, like, I always really like YouTubers who have a clear disdain for a lot of the mechanics of YouTube. And it's one of the reasons I have it. I do it myself. There's a YouTuber I'm a big fan of called Pat Finnerty, who you've heard me talk about before. Him of the...
Yes.
Oh god, what was it again? Low Cash, formerly Low Cash Cowboys. That guy.
You are being very generous in assuming I remember the details of that conversation.
Yeah,
At least while I'm distracted by a boss fight.
And he has a really good bit about who's very quiet. Which of us two is very quiet?
Whoop. Here we go.
Yeah, let me give it a quick test.
You are standing today instead of sitting, which might make more of a difference than we thought.
I will try to move the microphone closer to my mouth.
There we go. Get that ASMR.
I think it's more that the game might be a bit loud.
I haven't changed any audio settings. At least not to my knowledge. I know, you tell us, Omega.
I'm also like, hang on, if I mute this one, then I will be able to hear the Twitch version only.
That's sort of what I figured, yeah. Alright, so yeah, we cleared about 1 Pantheon's worth of enemies, so we get our little hot tub break. And, unlike before, because I've been busting my ass, frankly, doing all the bindings for the lower Pantheons, we now have this little lifeblood cocoon. Which will give us a little bit of spare health going into the next fight.
Nice.
That's gonna come in handy. And theoretically, if we play, perfectly and don't take any damage between now and the next hot tub, not like that, that extra health can and does stack.
Nice, you love to hear it. To go back to my point, he has a bit in one of his videos where he doesn't have an actual sponsor, and so his sponsor is, this video is brought by the guys on TikTok who just play a song in the background and then point to things. That is some capital C content. Enjoy your breakfast. What you making?
Whoop. He might have gone off to do that, so I don't know if he's still around. But more on this story as it develops.
I do like breakfast. Here's, speaking of breakfast.
Hell yeah.
Oh, classic. The thing that always gets me about breakfast is I get the impression that the Netherlands is cooked breakfasts. Because the Netherlands isn't really much of a cooked breakfast country, in my experience. And
Like,
so...
Nobody's gonna look at you weird if you say, oh, I had, eggs and bacon for breakfast.
Yeah, but if you compare it to, like, the UK or the US, where you got, like, oh yeah, eggs, bacon, hash browns, sausages, it's... like... the Dutch are equally likely to just make, like, a sandwich or granola, you know?
I mean,
Like, we're weird in that we have sandwiches that, like, our sandwich, it's bread, butter, and literal chocolate.
I mean, the idea of having sandwiches for breakfast or something like that, they do that in... I agree that it's probably the warm version is more common in the English-speaking world, but... chocolate notwithstanding, most of what we do, they do as well.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's just less likely to be cooked here. And I personally am so not used to it that, like, whenever I, like, stay in a hotel that had breakfast included and they have, like, the breakfast buffet, I always really like getting, the hash browns, the sausage, the bacon and stuff. But I kind of just feel bad for most of the day afterwards.
Skill issue. There, got a bit messy there, frankly, but that's the Albalopus for you. Alright, Mantis Lords, not too bad. And one of my favorite bosses as well, so.
Is it always in the same order?
Yes, but this is a different order than just doing the Pantheons back to back to back. Like, they do sort of get scrambled up for this Pantheon.
Gotcha.
And now we just do 2. Oh. Surprise!
Oh, it's the Adeptus Sororitas.
I do not have time
What
for your
the fuck?
40k nonsense right now because this is all of them at once.
They used to be called the Sisters of Battle, and now they are the Adeptus Sororitas. This specific Mantis Lords fight, it is a very good visual demonstration of how I played Insect Glaive in Monster Hunter World.
I'm playing a game. It's called Floor is Lava. Too early on that. Alright, that's one down.
That's a good one. Alright. The other two should follow relatively shortly. There we go. Hell yeah.
I love the Sisters of Battle. Such a simple twist, but so effective.
What if there was DJ Khaled voice, another one?
The frame rate, Captain, she cannot take it. Maboom.
See ya.
Bye, Marmoon.
Time for a nice break.
One hit, because that was sloppy. Oh, flip arm.
I really like the way the music transforms for the Broken Vessel. And also just its positioning, like the way its head is like hunched over because of the weight of the infection. It just looks so sad.
Yeah, poor guy. Galleon.
This name could be a Pokemon, I think. There's just something extremely cool about combat size.
What about combat brushes?
Ah, we're getting into some epic Mickey, are we?
Ooh, excellent reference.
I'm also desperately trying to think of literally any other combat brushes.
Talon had one in Soul Calibur 2.
Okay. There's... you could argue... No, she doesn't really fight. I was gonna say, like, I forget her actual name, but the painter from Kirby. But she doesn't... Like, when you fight her as a boss fight, she just paints things and you fight those instead. I don't think she ever actually
Almost
mixes it up herself.
I mean, she presumably mixes the paint.
Bam. Finnen.
And given how painting-themed Expedition 33 is, I'm surprised that I'm not thinking of any examples of combat brushes in that game.
I've none.
But yeah, you can say what you want about Ruby, the Rooster Teeth show, but the main character's weapon of a scythe that transforms into a shotgun might be one of the coolest things anyone's ever thought of.
Monty Ohm was a great ideas guy. Rick Monty.
For sure.
Away with his bollocks.
Shoot. They haven't released any new music recently, if memory serves. I haven't checked in with them in a bit, though.
For those of you playing the home game, Yoga is referring to the Mongolian band The Who.
Yes.
I know it was very obvious from context, but I figured I should clarify.
Yeah, fair enough. Hell of a live show. I also really like the character archetype of just kind of a freaky, messed up collector character.
Yeah, a hoarder.
Yeah, like we had the one from Marvel, played by Jeff Goldblum.
There's the villain from Pokemon the movie 2000.
Yeah. There's there's one from Killjoys, which I saw recently, who No, that wasn't the one... Hang on, actually. What was the other Canadian genre TV show that he was in? No, yes, he wasn't played by the guy who plays Aiden Pierce in Watch Dogs. That's someone else. But it is kind of funny that he showed up twice recently in Canadian genre television that I've seen. Now, is Grim one of these boss fights where when he's, like, little is the only time you actually meaningfully damage him?
No. Like, all damage done to him is, like, proper damage.
Okay, so he's not like the failed champ.
No, the little state is sort of a, hey, if you can't figure out any of his other patterns, here's at least one guaranteed spot where you know you can beat it.
Nice.
It's a little bit of a concession to people struggling with it.
Yeah, nicely done.
Bye-bye. And hey, this means we now get to stack some blue health.
Hell yeah.
Look at that. Thing of beauty. Now, very importantly, we should not rest at benches while we have this, because benches will set you to full health, which means they will get rid of blue health.
Yeah.
So I was very careful with my charm loadout before this. Speaking of which, I can quickly show that off. We have Unbreakable Strength, Unbreakable Heart, Soul Catcher, No Matchless Glory, Mark of Pride. Very straightforward, combat focused. Sleeping God, we can barely feel thy presence among the green left behind. What strength thee once possessed fades beyond time and tune. So yeah, that's a.
Come with me on this
background
journey. Sorry, I interrupted you. What did you say?
I was just gonna say that's a in the background there. It makes Slug
Nice.
friend.
Come with me on this journey. A boss fight focused podcast under the Gamepodular umbrella called Combat Focused.
We'll workshop it. How about that?
We already had we've already had the one-off segment of Gamepodular Unplugged.
That's when I reviewed the Dorf Romantic board game,
Yeah.
which was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend people haven't played it.
And also listen to the episode. Has already spawned in. Are there any fights in any of the Souls games that are like this? There's just like a whole lot of them.
Yeah, a couple of the Abyss Watchers and Dark Souls 3 come to mind.
Right, yes. I feel like I made that comparison last time we fought them, and then I seem to
Promptly
have forgotten
forgot
since
about it.
then. Because there's like that one boss fight in the university in Elden Ring. That's just more a bunch of jobbers that are kind of hiding.
Until Criminala shows up, yeah.
Yeah.
They sort of tossed around that idea a couple times in various iterations.
What's this?
Okay, that did actually get him. Dang it. That was...
How did that one explode?
The first one made him explode.
Oh,
Like
wow,
they home back on us, and the first one triggered the second one.
that like pretty long gap between the two, I have to say.
Yeah, it'd be like that. So yeah, there goes all of our lovely stacked up health. Shame, but sometimes it's like that. Alright, so what do we got here? Oh, hey, bud! Right.
This Chungus again.
Except now he can fly. They fly now.
That is 2 Star Wars references so far.
Look, I've had it on the brain lately.
Isn't like the Mandalorian and Grogu like currently in theaters?
I wouldn't know. Like, when I say I've had it on the brain lately, I have very little interest in Disney-era Star Wars.
You and most people, I think. Like, I haven't watched any of it, to be clear. As well, I mean, aside from the 3 movies. But, like, I think the only ones that I have heard people genuinely say, like, this is good, is Season 1 and only Season 1 of The Mandalorian. And Andor. And that's it.
People have recently been marking out over Maul Shadow Lord. A lot of people are saying that's
Okay.
good. I believe it. Sure, I guess.
I also really like the character archetype of small but has gigantic weapon. We had one of those in our Wild Beyond the Witchlight game, even though that's against the rules.
It used to be. Like, it used to be if you were absolutely allowed to use weapons bigger than your own size category, you would just have, like, lower chance of hitting people.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy, Mammon, the Demon Prince of Green, who was, I believe, capital H huge, but wielded a capital G gargantuan short spear.
Also, just the phrase gargantuan short spear is very funny.
Yes.
Similarly, also from Dungeons and Dragons, Boo, the miniature giant space hamster.
Yes.
Affectionately referred to by the magic community as Hamtaro. It does also remind me of one of my favorite extremely lame jokes. The police are reporting that there is a psychic little person who recently escaped from jail. They're saying there's a small, medium, at large.
Classic dad joke.
I think, legally speaking, I make them their uncle jokes.
Sorry. I don't make the rules. Like, if you haven't kept up your, like, dad membership fees, then I can't help you. You're gonna have to take that up with the board of directors.
Yeah, I'm really not qualifying for Celebrity Super Dad of the Year. Was that the thing that Titus O'Neil won that one time?
Why, yes. Yes, it is. And I think you are... We are, unfortunately, the only people on planet Earth who remember that happening. I'm surprised if he remembers that happening. Anyway, we just finished up with what I would describe as the easy half of this pantheon. Or like the easy 2/3.
Okay.
You'll notice that none of the usual suspects in terms of, like, grumbling have shown up yet.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised that your absolute favorite hasn't shown up yet. I definitely remember Markov. Morkov. Markov? With an A?
Yes, it is Markoth with an O.
Yeah. Morkoth with an O is, I think, a thing from Skyrim?
I believe it.
Oh, right. They're also a Dungeons and Dragons monster. cruel and evil race of aquatic predators with hypnotic powers.
No eyes.
Right, I think the thing from Skyrim was Mark Karth.
You would know that better than I would.
You'd think I would, given how many hundreds of hours I've spent playing that game across the, like, 3 versions of it that are in my Steam library.
You're right, I would.
Fun fact, I'm fairly confident I've only ever paid for one of them. The other 2 were just like, hey, you own the game and all the DLC.
Yeah.
Here's
the new version.
An updated version.
Trader World. Bit messy, bit Pele, but go.
Hell yeah. Are you physically prevented from moving when he does the chest beating thing?
Yes. You can see the bug knight doing a little flinch animation.
Nicely done.
There we go. Alright.
I think we're doing okay.
Yep. If I was Rock Lee, this is the point where I'll be taking off the training weights. Oh hey, it's Mom. Oh, tragedy. This majestic god evades our attunement with such ease. We live only to serve the gods, to seek them out. Why does she frustrate us? How does she hide from us? Does she diminish herself by choice? Yes, actually. I hope
Look,
that
she
answered your
just
question.
doesn't want to talk to you. Stop being parasocial about it.
Yeah, she put up the no sticker on her letterbox. Leave her alone.
I need to still... Thanks for reminding me. I need to file, like, a civil complaint or something. Because I do have a no sticker on my letterbox. But some, like, e-bike company put, like, an advertisement in my mailbox. And you're not allowed to do that when I have one of those stickers.
My understanding is if it is addressed to you, then they can, unfortunately.
It was not.
In that case, yeah. That is very good.
going back to the Rock Lee comparison, it's wild that like that's like one of the first ever episodes of Naruto I watched.
It's a good one to come into.
And yeah, like yes and no, right? Because it is like one of the best ones. And the rest, and a lot of the rest of the show is not nearly that good. Hit the point yet where the bosses are dealing double damage.
I mean, we actually have, because the Mantis Lord does double damage.
The Trader Lord, you mean?
Trader Lord, yes. Hey Markoth, how are the wife and kids?
Obviously, like any game that has a lot of bosses will have a boss that is everyone's least favorite boss, sort of by default. Like, even if they're all good, there is one that is the least good. But yeah, Markoth is...
And this particular transition is also very cool. Markoth right into Zote.
Yeah.
Frankly, is rough.
I'm trying to think of, like, mentally any other games I've played that have a lot of boss fights like that. I guess Shadow of the Colossus is a reasonable pick. There's, like... It has some absolute bangers, like the giant, like, bird thing over the lake, and the other ones that I can't immediately name. And then there's this like tiny kind of boar-looking thing that's just so boring.
Get it?
It's actually, I think, a bull, and it being a bull should tell you immediately how you're supposed to fight it.
Yeah. Alright. You know what? For, like, Markoth right into Zote, we did pretty good there. I'm feeling pretty confident that we can make it the rest of the way. If anything was going to get us before the final boss, it was going to be that.
Do you get one more rest spot before the final boss?
I believe so.
Looking at Monster Hunter World, sort of my sort of pain points for that game's fights are, I mean, you've definitely heard me say this. Hell yeah. You're right on time, Omega.
Hey, Grim.
Yeah, my sort of pain points for that game are Kushala Daora and Lavasioth.
Darn it.
I find it interesting how games, not only within the Metroidvania genre, but just in general, are starting to incorporate a couple more elements from like bullet hell style games.
If they started to, that's not a new phenomenon. They've been doing that since like Contra.
I guess I should say indie games. Is like a very famous example of being Undertale. And then there was Returnal from a couple years ago that was like the third-person shooter that had a bunch of bullet hell stuff in it. I guess that's not technically an indie game, I think. I thought you were.
It's not over until the Grim Lady sings. I assume there's a Mrs. Grimm. No, save that for the sequel.
Okay, I'm about to make a very niche joke. Yes, her name is Rosalie Calvert. No, not Rosalie.
Messed it up. The joke is dead.
There we go.
That was closer and scarier than I would have liked for a bit there, but we made it. So. I don't know, Omega. Was it a Twisted Metal reference?
No, I was thinking of the name Juliet Silverton from the TV show Grimm.
That has like 0 syllables in common with the name you actually said. Wow.
No, Rosalie Calvert is a different character on the show. Is the thing I was thinking of.
Even long departed, we feel the afterglow of the god power that sat on this throne. It lays heavy upon this kingdom. That lingering power alone was beacon enough to draw us to Hallownest. How bright it must have been to mortal bugs stood before it. Yeah, like, I don't have a lot of good memories of Dad, but everything does seem to indicate that, like, when he was doing his job, he was pretty good at it. At least for a while. Anyway. We fought the Hollow Knight, and I believe we did also fight the Pure Vessel already down in the Pantheon of the Night, so this won't be anything new, but still.
It is still the Pure Vessel.
Too early. Should correct. Yep.
Nice. I just noticed the way the floor lights up in this arena. Very cool.
Yep.
But only for you.
Thought he was doing a different attack there. Okay, heal. burnt through our blue health, but we have full actual health. And we have full soul. Oh, and by the way, unlike the last time we fought him, the Radiance does double damage now, just FYI.
This thing is so cool. I mean, I've said my piece about how much I love moth-inspired creatures. That its wings are tendrils. I love that it has a crown.
If we were to belabor the point now, it'd be much ado about mothing.
Also, shout out to the Pokemon Frostmoth, one of my favorite Pokemon from the most recent generation. Actually, no, it was from Sword and Shield, I think. Oh yeah, Jesus. I'm getting nervous just watching this.
Okay,
in a way, it's kind of better to fall than it is to get hit, right? Because that way you only take 1 damage.
Correct. Okay, I think he is... Yep. It's go time.
I haven't really, to go back to a previous point, I haven't really watched or played any Twisted Metal. Although I've heard the show is actually, like, quite good. And if nothing else, it has Samoa Joe in it, so...
Oh, by the way, he has his 3rd phase now.
Yeah, I remember this from the last time you streamed this game on Discord. Holy hell.
And now...
Oh.
With the tear.
And then we waited for, what was it, 8 years, 9 years for Silksong to come out?
A little over 3,000 days, so yeah, about 8.5 years. Yeah,
First try on the Pantheon. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, if you don't do the flower delivery quest, what happens is our big sarcophagus fellow turns into a shadow monster, which is presumably a different problem. Like, the Radiance is a concluded issue, but presumably it would still be very bad if that were to happen. So I always bring the flower because the flower contains the darkness seemingly forever. And this way you will, by doing the Pantheon, we get that little teaser for Silksong. Oof. I was so scared during Grim. Because we definitely got down to the point there where, like, one hit would have killed me.
Yes.
But, you know, this is why we stay calm.
Now that we've done the whole game... Hello, Vecna. Now that we've done the whole game in this randomizer mod, it is... Obviously, this is not the... Let's call it the ideal way of experiencing this game. But it does really highlight the ingenuity of the community in finding all of these workarounds, and also the way that the game was designed, allowing it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something very cool that you can get it in a lot of types of video games, but I feel like Metroidvanias are especially well suited for it.
Yes, Metroidvanias are good for it. Zeldas and Zelda-likes tend to be good for it because those are both genres where, like, your progress is very specifically gated behind items or abilities.
Yeah.
Theoretically, there's nothing stopping you from doing it. In other genres, of course. Like, this is going to be my last stream for a little while because I'm very busy these days and have some stuff I want to get, you know, cleared out off my schedule before I come back to doing more streams. But when I do, how does the idea of a Elden Ring randomizer sound to you?
That sounds awesome. Like randomized bosses, randomized items,
yes,
randomized.
Yes.
Oh. Ask me again when we actually decide to start doing that, but I might, like, join you on that.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can, you know, play Elden Ring in the least good way to experience it for the first time.
You gotta love it.
I mean, I
know for a fact that
the
I know for a fact that the randomizer mod is compatible with the seamless co-op mod. So
yes.
Yeah, we're not making any promises, and if it does happen, it's gonna be quite a while in the future. But
yes,
you know, that's been on my to-do list, and it, depending on sort of the timetable, that might actually be sort of the next thing I do, because, like, the obvious question, I assume, is when are we doing Silksong on here? And the answer is when they are done releasing all of the content.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I'm not featuring Silksong on this channel until everything is all done, because in spite of everything you have seen so far, please believe me when I say Silksong is a lot harder than this. Like, significantly harder than everything we've done so far. So I don't want to have to go back and retune, relearn from a, like, mostly finished base game save file because now the DLC is dropped and I can get back into it. That's a fool's errand. If I'm gonna do Silksong start to finish, I need it to be start to finish uninterrupted.
Yes.
So
makes sense.
Yeah. We're gonna wait for the expansions to drop. That should ideally be faster than, you know, the base game.
Here's hoping. I mean, they did. I was going to say they did already announce the next one, but I mean, they announced Silk Song a while before it came out.
Yep. I think the first trailer for it dropped 6 years, maybe even 7 years before the game actually came out. So yeah. It is kind of interesting. Like, I've rarely ever talked about this on stream, but the entire idea of, like, oh, you can play as Hornet, it was spun off from what were originally, I believe, the Kickstarter goals for the first game.
Yes.
Like, they had stretch goals.
Thank you,
in mind.
Omega.
Yeah.
Enjoy your errands.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, bud. Glad you could be here for it. Take care. Yeah, the original stretch goals for the game included the idea of, like, once you finish, you can play as Hornet, you can play as Zote. I believe there was one other one that was teased, but I can't remember who it was. Quirrell, our lovely gay friend who showed up on the benches sometimes.
Yeah.
Those were all ideas for stretch goals that ultimately demonstrably had to be abandoned, of course. They morphed into different ideas over time. Like, Zote eventually got his own, like, secret trial with the 14 different variants of him, which frankly sounds like more work than just making him playable, but, you know, here we are. And then for Hornet, that eventually spun off into, of course, the idea of, let's just make an entire game about Hornet. But, yeah, like, the original game, the original Kickstarter for it, like, was very successful, but then it was, like, people forget this, it was a little unclear as to whether this would actually come together. Like, they had a great pitch, where they're gonna stick the landing, and then they eventually released the base game, I believe out of, like, pure finances. Like, the Kickstarter money had gotten them as far as they could, and they had the base game done. They had stuff they knew they wanted to add, which is the lovely little icons you can see above our version number. The pancake, the Dream Nail logo, the Grim Mask, the Lifeblood cocoon thing, the God Tuner, like, all of those were little expansion packs that were added later on.
Yeah.
And nowadays, you would find no trace of that, because nowadays, like, every version of this game includes all of that by default.
Yes.
But, you know, once upon a time, long ago, we were actually still waiting on those, and that's also the reason why the percentage completion can actually go above 100%. Like, we got 100% there. It can go up to 112. The stuff that we are missing, for the record, is actually mostly things like entries in the journal for finding and killing certain numbers of enemies, and little tiny subquests here and there that don't actually get you item rewards. That percentage going up to 112, partially that's a reference to Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which famously goes up to 196% completion.
Right.
Although I believe with the right bugs, you can actually get that as high as 392%. Yeah. So partially that's a Castlevania reference, but mostly it's a concession to the fact that they released the base game and had a percentage completion, and then they added more content, so we have to, like, it has to now go above 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to when Silksong reaches that point where it is, you know, finally truly feature complete in every sense of the word. Like, they're gonna keep on updating these games seemingly forever, mostly for security reasons, and in case people find little tiny hiccups here and there that they can still iron out. There's actually been an update for Hollow Knight the last 4 months that I very purposely had to not install because I was very worried about it breaking compatibility with the randomizer mod.
Yeah.
And so I've had to like turn off automatic updates and be like hand on the wrist whenever I'm like holding the mouse on that to make sure I click on the play button and not the update button, even though they're the same color and right next to each other.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel good to not have to worry about that anymore. But yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you for doing this. Like, I've said my piece on Hollow Knight. Like, it's a game I find more fascinating than I find fun, although I like it more than I used to. But it is so cool seeing someone who is genuinely very good at this game and also playing it in a way that is not the intended experience and still managing to be just kick ass at it, right?
Thank you. There's one little thing I just wanted to show off before we sign off for good. And speaking of signing off, if you want us to keep on doing stuff like this, like I said before, please support us on patreon.com/Gamepodular. Subscribe to us here on twitch.tv/Gamepodular. Maybe to our YouTube channel over on youtube.com/@Gamepodular. Check out the VOD channel, youtube.com/@Gamepodular streams highlights. Join the Discord. You can find a link over on gamepodular.com or in our stream comments momentarily, over in the chat, sorry. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the thing I want to show off here, you might notice the silver marking next to the Radiance. Yes, that means I did it on Ascended difficulty. Yes, that means it was doing double damage.
Gross. And if you do like playing Metroidvania, like seeing us play Metroidvanias, don't worry. We have plenty more of that in store for you, because on Tuesday, me and N-Focus co-host Rosalie are going to be starting Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is one of my personal Metroidvania favorites. It's really fun. It's really cool. It was like one of my favorite games of 2023. And then on Friday, we will continue our playthrough of Iconoclasts, hosted by me and Scott, which is a really, really good game.
Yeah, this little door just opens up after you actually beat the Absolute Radiance proper. And contributes to our journal entry. Because, yeah, if I go to the journal and go all the way down, you will now see the Void Idol. Yeah, rare artifact from a time before Hallownest, the volatile liquid of the abyss given form. Inspired or mad, those ancient bugs, they devoted their worship to no lord or power or strength, but to the very darkness itself. Which is a very astute observation. And I love that it's credited to Lem, i.e. the shopkeep that we've been selling our stuff to this whole time. I like the idea that the people we've met along the way are gonna actually end up, like, telling a lot of the story.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, if you really want to torture yourself, not only is there, of course, the one-hit kill mode for fighting the Absolute Radiance, if that's just a tiny bit too spicy, remember, you can always overcharm yourself, so you can do double damage, aka octuple damage.
No.
What? It's technically a 2-hit kill instead of a 1-hit kill.
Gross.
But yes, with all of that, thank you, Hyuka, for joining me along the way. Thank you to everybody who has popped in along the way as well. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I originally assumed this would take, like, slightly less time because I didn't count on having to do basically all of Deep Nest completely in the dark, but we did it. We did not let that stop us.
No.
And this has been a wonderful time. I'm glad I got to share it all with you along the way. Take care.
Yeah.
We'll see you some other time, by which we mean next Tuesday, assuming you're watching this live, or next Saturday, or on many of our other streams. You can find our announcements for that in the Discord as well.
And on the Blue Sky.
And on the Blue Sky, of course. And with that, take care, have yourself a wonderful day. See you somewhere down the road.
Bye-bye.